Well, hello everyone. I am currently riding the Blue Ridge Road, and I have to say it's exceptional. The roads are amazing. The fact that I get to see all this foliage, I'm getting there's views on left and right side of me. I want to keep stopping every time. It's truly amazing to ride through the mountains like this. If you ever get the chance, please do this ride. I'm not entirely done. I have about another 2.5 hours. I'm actually trying to get to Front Royal, Virginia to stay for the night. Got a little bit of a late start, but that's just the way it goes. If anything, I'll have to bail at some point because I don't want to ride at night. It gets cold, and I just want to be inside at that point, relaxing. I think I should be good. It gets dark like 7, but I think the road or the park closes at 5. So that's a little bit of a concern, but I think I should be fine. So, as you can see, well, if you can't, I'm on a Ducati Multistrada S Touring 2011. And I'm on Team Ducati apparently now. So let me give you a little bit of some backstory as I ride through these windy roads. So I started riding like 4 or 5 years ago. I saw the Triumph Bonneville and I instantly fell in love. That's what I wanted. I didn't test bike any motorcycles. I saw that one and I wanted it. Done. So I took my MSF course, passed it, and then I bought Bonneville from Craigslist within a week or so. I had already started talking to someone before I even passed the test, just to have a backup in case I was ready to go. Maybe if I failed, then I could be like, hey man, I failed, so I can't get the bike. But I already kind of started this conversation. So I got the Triumph Bonneville T100 2011, and it was amazing. It was a great first bike. I had saw a couple of people with them in New York. I'm from Manhattan, so I saw a lot of people from Manhattan with them. My MSF course guide told me, or instructor told me, yeah, it's a perfect first bike, so I got it. It was all black with chrome. I loved it. Well, I'm sorry, it wasn't all black. I made it all black. I murdered it out. It was white stripes with gold, white with gold stripes, and black on the tank. Everything else was just chrome and stock. The owner had like 4 or 5 bikes, and his wife told him to get rid of one. Lucky me. The Triumph was in really good shape. He worked on bikes before, so he's sort of like he's a little handy. So the bike is great. 3 or 4 years later, I'm not really sure. I think it's 4 years though. I ride a lot, and I don't ride in the city. I ride to get out of the city. And I did a lot of customization to my Triumph and made it the way I wanted it. Make it a little lower because of the profile with the tires and the shocks. It got a little lower. It doesn't really affect the ride. I got some custom wheels on there. I did 180s on the back, Canyon Racing. The bike looks amazing. It's sick. But it's not practical for me for touring. I like to get out of the city, maybe the weekend. And I'm a tall guy. I'm about 6'1", and it just wasn't comfy for me. Like every time I'd ride, I'd come back with a backache, like literally a backache that would last for 2 or 3 days. I couldn't sit down. I had to go to get a massage, heating pads, It was bad, but I loved that bike. It was the profile of it. It just looked so sick, and so I didn't want to get rid of it. I did everything I can by changing my seating position, different seats, different bars, bar risers, different shocks. I got everything, or I shouldn't say shocks, but springs. I got everything. Try to change, the profile of the bike for a longer lasting ride. And I could only do like an hour or two on that bike, and then I had to get up, which for most people is about the same for riding. They just need to get off and you get like butt fatigue or whatever. I forget the name of it, but it's a funny name for it. Anyways, and so I was taking a trip to Canada. I was going to be gone for at least 2 weeks. It started off in the U.S., like Cleveland, and then on my way down to Toronto, up to Toronto, excuse me. And I needed something that was a little bit, upright seating position. As you can see, like my arms are up high. It just seems like I'm sitting down on like a bar stool, a very comfy bar stool, if I may. And so I rented a Multistrada, and if you didn't see that, this guy was pulling out as I'm coming, but his head was turned. Like, dude, don't move your car until I'm past. Ooh, nice van. So rented a Multistrada, and I rode it. I rode it 2 years ago, or a year ago, excuse me, in the heat wave of the Northeast. I mean, I think it was more than just the Northeast. It was like all over the U.S. Massive heat wave. I mean, we're talking like 100-degree temperatures, and I'm riding a freaking Ducati, a Ducati of all bikes, in 100-degree weather. If I had done it on my Triumph, it would have been okay. I mean, I would have still been hot because you just still got engine heat. But this Ducati, the heat coming from it is insane. I only ride this bike. Well, I'm only going to ride this bike in like spring and fall, winter. Summertime, I'm not even going to get on this thing. Like, it's hot. Not even for a joyride. So anyways, I rented this Multistrada, never test rode, I seen reviews about it. I watched a million reviews on which bike to rent. It was between that, obviously, and the GS. But like, soon as I saw this Multistrada, it was like a light bulb or like an explosion. The looks got me. It was just this pterodactyl, aggressive motorcycle body and chassis. It just looked like it was going to eat you, like it looked like a vulture. Like you were dead in the desert. This guy comes down, kills your guts, or you're alive and he kills you. I instantly saw it, was like, this bike looks amazing. Don't get me wrong. I had to do a lot of work to do my Triumph to get it to look badass. But the Multistrada, like, out of the, like, bam, as soon as you saw it, it just looked amazing. It looked sexy. It looked scary. It had all these different, combinations of looks in it. And you didn't have to do anything to it. So I rode that. It was hot as hell. I'm not going to lie. I rode it around Toronto. I rode it around Canada, back up to Montreal, and unfortunately, I had a electrical issue on the bike, which, I've based on reviews and older bikes of Ducatis, like, it just has a history of having some issues. I've never had a problem with my Triumph. My Triumph has been rock solid. Never had any issues. Not to say others don't, but Triumph doesn't really is not really known for like a lot of issues as far as I understand. Um, but yeah, never had any problems with it. Outstanding bike, and it had some issues at the end. And even with that happening, this is like I did the ride. It was amazing. I had comfort. I had speed. I had different riding modes. I was mostly in urban when I was in the city, and then I, popped it into touring. And this is like me riding this type of bike for the first time. Like I just took it on the road and just did it. I'm like that with like mostly with a lot of vehicles except manuals. And I know that's funny. I can't do manual in a car, but hear me out. I'm trying to learn. I know it's very similar. Look at this guy. He's like on a little mini ATV. It's hilarious. I learned the bike before I learned manual. I'm trying to learn the manual to drive. I'm just not there yet. Anyways, not to segue. I'm pretty good with like picking things up and motorcycle, vehicles and like figuring it out. So I got on this. It was big. It was top heavy. Very different riding style, but it had a throttle, it had a clutch, and a shifter. That's all I needed, and two wheels, obviously. And so I got on it. I was like, holy crap, this is so comfortable. And that was it. And I started riding, and I saw the power there, on the highway. This definitely eats the highway. And that's, kind of not a lot of the travel do, but I would say a good 60% of it would be like trying to get from point A to point B. I would be on the highway. Triumph is not a highway machine. It's like this types of roads, the Blue Ridge. Like if I was on the Triumph in this, solid. But then, riding this road is perfect for the Triumph. But once I gotta get home, and I gotta get home in a pinch, I want something with a little bit more comfort and speed. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people do it on Triumphs. It just didn't work for me. But my first love is my Triumph Bonneville. I'm team Ducati right now, but I'm always team Triumph. Hopefully one day I'll get my old bike back, and maybe I'll have it when I move to the country or something. I'll just put that bad boy around, go get some coffee at the local cafe, but we'll see. But right now, this is the bike. And even though it's a 2011 model, it's got a lot of bells and whistles. But how I got to this point, basically, I looked, I found it. I wanted all black. It had to be all black or I wasn't going to do it. I love all black. My car is all black. I just like black. I like black and gray. Those are my favorite color combinations. As you can see, the gray and black. Anyways, so I saw this and I saw it online. I'm sorry, I was looking at reviews and I saw the black version. Everyone usually gets the red version, Ducati Italian, so they get red. I hate red, never liked red. If you like red, that's cool, but I don't like it. So this was the only all murdered out one that I had seen that was in my price range of the year. And I just saw it while doing reviews for it, and I fell in love. I was like, it's all black, it's murdered out, oh my goodness, like, so I just had to have it. So, the hunt began, and then I found it. There's some changes that need to be done, nothing major, obviously. There's some blue mountains in the background, if you can see that, but, the hue is blue, not the mountains are blue. Anyways, I found all black one. It's really hard to find all black. You always find like reds, and you can get the Gran Turismo, I think that's what it's called. It's in gray. Now, if I had looked into that, getting the gray, good lord, gray, I'd have been decked out in gray. It would have been insane. But anyways, it was either gray or black, and I happened to find the black. It had a lot of miles on it. It had about 26. And I know the Desmo service was going to be coming up at 30, but once I went and saw it in person, I just had to have it, so I got it. Didn't test ride shit, just like, give me this bike right now. And I got it. It's you know, it's been a game changer. It's a stock, everything is stock. The only thing that I have changed or in the process of upgrading, I changed the windshield, and I got some new reservoir covers, which I'll do a whole rundown at some point on the bike. I got some new reservoirs. I got a new windshield. I got I added a phone charger. Phone mount, and it attaches to the. It's a bolt for the handlebar. Handlebar mount. It just bolts in. It gives you a 1 inch ball, and then you can attach it with like a mount and have that phone. And I can mount any phone I want to, which was perfect. I got obviously manual updates. I got a new chain, gold, and I got a new sprocket for front and back, front and rear. And the bike had an old or cracked turn. It wasn't a turn signal, but the turn signal shift guards. I got that replaced. It was just old, so I just got a new one. It was like $25. Took like 5 seconds to replace. And what else? I think that's it. That's all I've really done to the bike. The bike has panniers, but I don't have them with me now. I just gotta stop. I'm so short. Okay. Yeah, right. So I have panniers. This is the touring model, so I have panniers. I have center stand. I have heater grips. For this trip, I didn't really need the panniers. But let me tell you, it wasn't really that I didn't need the panniers. It was just like, this bike is so sexy without the panniers because of that single-sided swing arm. When you see the single-sided swing arm, good lord. So it was like I could have put the panniers on, but I didn't really need that much stuff, you know. So I just decided to ride without it, keep that sleek look, which is amazing. If the wife comes with me, or we go somewhere far, or I go somewhere far, that's more than just a weekend trip, then I'll bring the bags. But the sexiness of that single-sided swing arm, right, for this trip, I was just like, nah, I just throw the backpack on. I have my 20-liter Villamachi backpack. I love this thing because it's like it's not on my back, it's more like hugging my body, and that helps for the long rides as well. So mind you, when I did that Toronto trip, I was gone for 2 weeks, rode every damn day. There's not one day I didn't ride, and I didn't have any butt fatigue, I didn't have any back fatigue, I didn't have any back pains. I came back, I had the touring, I had the panniers on, I had no fatigue whatsoever at any point. The only time I had to stop is to get gas. And if I had to get gas, I was impatient. I was like, I want to ride. And when I was done with my trip, I just wanted to ride again. Like, it's never a point while I was riding this bike where I was like, man, I can't wait till I'm done with this bike. I was ready to go every time when I rented it. So, and that's how I feel about this bike now. It's like, I can ride this thing all day, no question. If I run out of gas, I can ride this thing till I run out of gas. I can ride this thing all day. It's just that comfy. So, and it's a stock seat. I didn't even get a comfort seat. I don't know what this magic seat is made out of, but I've seen some other, third parties, brands that make them, but I don't even want to change it because I was like, I don't want to give up this comfort for something else. Anyways, so I got the Multi, and I had the mechanic look at it. He did I did get up to 30,000 miles, and then I have my mechanic do the Desmo service on it. So it's really little updates, little upgrades here and there. The last thing I have to do is what I'm waiting for is I got some. They're really hard to find. There's a guy that used to make them. But the windscreen, I feel like the windscreen is it's lacking a little bit. It's like two face, I don't know how to describe it, but it basically faces towards you, the angle. It just faces towards you a little bit much. I just need something a little bit pushed further up to that. The wind is hitting me like right here. Before it was hitting me like right here with the, it was an aftermarket windscreen that came with it. So I rode with that for a while, but the wind would always hit right here. Now it hits like right here, around there, and I'm trying to get these extenders to push the mirror up or forward, I should say, in a sense where it gives me a little bit lift, so it's not on like an angle, it's more of like on a 90-degree angle. And so those are the only things I'm waiting for to come in. This guy in the UK makes them. One guy used to make them also in the UK. He stopped making them for the older, well, he stopped making them in general, so this other guy started doing it. That's the only thing I'm waiting for an upgrade. I did get a backrest for the wife, but that's a hot swap removable type thing, which is way I don't think you have to use it that way, but that's how I'm going to use it. So you can take it off and put it back on when you need it. I just have to put these two mounts on the rack on the back, and I can leave the mounts all the time, and then just put the backrest on when she wants to join me. So it comes in a pinch, it comes in real helpful. I feel that she enjoys the ride more when she can rest her back, as opposed to like leaning forward all the time, and holding on. She could get a little bit of comfort. Those are the only things I am waiting for to install on the bike. I'll do that when when the part for the screen comes in, I'll install it, but the seat is already here. I'm just waiting to install it when I get back. And that's basically it on this bike. I don't think I'm going to do anything else to it. And that's another reason why I liked it. The Triumph, I had to do so much to get it the way I liked, to get it the way I wanted, There was a lot of money invested in that Triumph, to say the least. But it looks amazing. At least to me it does. Everyone is different. And it looks great. I'm sad to see it go, but one of my best friends, he's got it. He's gonna be riding it, so I'll get to see it whenever I want. Go to his house and snatch it up for a quick ride. And that brings me to the Ducati. This is what I do now. This is what I ride, and it's very interesting. Like kids just standing in the park. It's weird. So yeah, sorry, got a little thrown off there with some people crossing the street. So yeah, the Ducati Multistrada. It's got a bunch of different modes. The riding is amazing. That upright position, I can't ask for anything else. I was looking at the GS. It feels like a bigger bike to me, it has that. It's associated with being like the old guy motorcycle, which, to be fair, is the reason why I couldn't do the Triumph for very long, because my back was killing me. So I got this, but the GS. Same upright position. It just feels really big to me, and it just makes me feel like an old man, even though I probably am an old man. But this with the Multistrada, I still get he still got it. I still got it. Even though I don't come from a sport bike background. I started riding on the Bonneville. That was my first bike. I started riding in my 30s, so I'm way up behind on wanting a crotch rocket. My friend, when he started riding years ago, Jason, what's up? He was riding the sport bikes, and he always was like, Sean, come and ride the sport bike, I was like, nah, just not my thing. And even a couple of times after I got my license, he was like, "Come on, Sean, like, you know, ride the bike." And I was like, "Nah, I'm not really into the sport bikes." Anyways, so now that I have this, and it's got a it's got a super bike engine in it, but it's completely upright. So it's like a sport bike for older guys. And I didn't know this until I got it, and then like a couple of people, I was watching more reviews, obviously, and it said this is like an older bike. It's a sport bike for older guys, because I got back issues, and I was like, I got the back issues, but I'm not a sport bike guy. Anyways, I thought that was a funny story. That's my new bike. I'm doing the Blue Ridge Lane up into the skyline. I'm doing this to the skyline. So this is the ride I'm doing. My GoPro looks like it's getting low on battery. So I'm just gonna stop it here before it cuts me off, and I can't control that. If you enjoyed, please please tell me if you got a Multistrada. Tell me what things you've done to it. I will tell you the last thing I'm gonna do to it over this winter. More research needs to be done. I'm gonna decat. So I'm gonna get rid of the, I'm gonna just put a pipe there. I'm gonna decat it. It's gonna be loud as hell. I mean, the exhaust is all right. It's decent. But I just want it to be louder. So I saw some videos of people decatting it, and it sounds amazing. But I like the stock pipe on it. I don't want to get a new pipe. I don't want to add a Termione. I want to keep the stock pipe. I just want the stock pipe to be louder. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't really have that many options with the 2011 model. So that'll be my last upgrade, is decatting it. And hopefully I gotta read up what the performances and fuel will change. And that's about it. I'll be sharing more to come as I give you a rundown of the bike. I'll also show you my Triumph, what I've done to that. I've never done that, actually. I'll do a rundown on that. I live in a great country of the United States. We got some great roads out here. You know, the roads don't have attitudes. People do. So go out there and enjoy the roads for what it's worth. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get out there and enjoy the roads. I must say, the people on this trip have been amazing. Every motorcyclist has talked to me. What's going on? How's your ride been? Sharing a story. Even down to me sitting in a coffee shop, people are always talking to me. So just be friendly, be safe, get out there and ride. Later, guys.